welcome back everybody. We're going to get started in just a couple of minutes here, but I want to give you a preview of what's coming up for the rest of the day. After this set, we're going to hear a round of Anju, Gabriella Simpkins, Nora Meyer, and Pratik. Then we're going to have a set from Noah Dirksen, one from Early Grey, a round of Julian Matunda, Olivia Wendell, Manisha, and Kyle Morgan. Then a set from Watson Park will close off tonight with Assorted Orchids, Hannah Dauber, Sean Bruce, and Emmy McSwain. The kitchen will be open full at about 4 o'clock, so after this set, you'll be able to order out the full menu. There are drinks available until then. You can talk to Sarah, who will make her way around the room. And please do make sure you visit the merch table, because there's a lot of great stuff for sale out there. If you're in the room and you have a copy of the Passim, of the campfire schedule, you're going to see a QR code on there. If you scan that, it'll go to the website passim.org/campfire, and it has all of the artists' websites linked on there, so you can find out information about them and how you can sign on to their mailing list as well. We've got information on the tables also, our newsletters that go through September and October. We put on shows nearly 7 nights a week here. We've been a nonprofit for the past 27 years. We're not just a music venue, we have a school of music, we have community programs, and we have something called the Iguana Music Fund, which gives $40,000 in grants to New England-based musicians every year, and the application process for that is open right now. It'll run for the first weekend of October. So let folks know if you're not a musician yourself, or if you are, you can find out information at passim.org/iguana. And right now, up on our stage, please welcome our next act, Peter Lehndorff.
Don't be discouraged when the future is not bright. And don't be discouraged when nothing turns out right. Don't be discouraged if things look bad at first. No, don't be discouraged. It's bound to get worse. Well, your pipes seem to leak a lot. Your plumber's name is Ray. Your wife calls him over whenever you're away. Your kid pulled off her braces. Now she wants a new tattoo. Your in-laws, they just sold their house and they're moving in with you. And they're saying, don't be discouraged when the future is not bright. And don't be discouraged when nothing turns out right. Don't be discouraged if things look bad at first. No, don't be discouraged. It's bound to get worse. Well, they're cutting back your hours at work. There's rumors going round. Everything keeps going up while yours keep going down. You're angry at the government. You voted to let them know. Turns out it was all a trick, some kind of Russian TV show. And they're saying, don't be discouraged when the future is not bright. And don't be discouraged when nothing turns out right. Don't be discouraged if things look bad at first. No, don't be discouraged. It's bound to get worse. Well, you saved up for a vacation to go off to Italy. You ended up being quarantined with your plumber's family. And folks ask,
how's it going, Pete?
You always say it's just fine. Well, two can live as cheaply as one for about half the time. Two can live as cheaply as one for about half the time. And you're saying, don't be discouraged when the future is not bright. Everybody, don't be discouraged when nothing turns out right. Don't be discouraged if things look bad at first. No, don't be discouraged, it's bound to get worse. Don't be discouraged, it's bound to get worse. So I'm Peter Lehndorff, and this is Susan Hill. So we're doing a bunch of songs from. I have a new album out, like a lot of other people. My new album is the first one I've done in like 25 years, and Jim Henry did all the production and stuff like that. We've got some great people besides Sue sang on it, Tracy Graham and Jim Henry, and Lisa Bastone's on it. So this, long before I fell in love with Sue, I was married for 38 years, and my wife had a disease called Huntington's disease, which I'll talk a little bit more about later. But so I was out of music for a good 20 years, or out of performing anyway. But anyway, when she was in hospice, her visiting nurse, when the visiting nurse came one night as she was leaving, she said, "Well, so far so good." And I thought, well, that's true. And I felt pretty fortunate to have that little bit of extra time. I used to think about my bucket list. Was the glass half empty, or was the glass just too damn big? I woke up each morning, you were smiling at me. When I looked into your eyes, you were all I knew. After every rainstorm, after that hurricane, after it snowed like hell, the sun always came out again. Things are what they were, they will be what they are. People said we were going places, and we did, just not far. So far, so good, I'm doing okay, I'm feeling pretty good. Can't complain, knock on wood, so far, so good. When I was 50, things were a little iffy. Once I turned 60, I just said, what the hell? Things are what they were, they will be what they are. People said we were going places, and we did, just not far. So far, so good, I'm doing okay, I'm feeling pretty good. Can't complain, knock on wood, so far, so good, so fine, so good, doing okay, I'm feeling pretty good, can't complain, knock on wood, so fine, so good. Yeah, I'll just pick them. So I want to thank Matt and Abby for holding this place going and inviting us. And I'll talk a little bit about my own Passim history, however it's pronounced. Well, it's you know, it's like well, I don't know, I'll talk about it after. So this is an older song that it's out digitally on Bandcamp. I wrote it about a young couple I saw working in a little store down the street from me in Western Massachusetts where I live. Well, we're down Main Street at the little store. He just bought a little truck. It was a 4x4. And Monday on his day off, he was driving down the street. He was getting hungry for something good to eat. For lunch he bought a Slurpee. He bought a Hostess pie. Then he saw her working there, was love, love at first sight. Heather was a pretty gal, she was tall, she was slim. He smiled at her, she smiled at him, he smiled right back again. It's a marriage of convenience, it's a marriage made in heaven. Billy works at the Cumberland Farms and Heather at the 7-Eleven. So that's your chorus if you want to sing. Well, Billy bought a Hostess pie almost every day. 4 or 5 weeks later, he finally asked her on a date. They said they might get married. They never reached second base. But Heather always kept some condoms just in case. They kept each other company most days of the week. Billy kept an eye on Heather and she kept Billy on a short leash. Then one night at Billy's store while he was stocking shelves, Heather was off in the corner reading Cosmo to herself. Here we go. It's a marriage of convenience. It's a marriage made in heaven. Billy works at the Cumberland Farms and Heather at the 7-Eleven. Well, a big old rusty car pulled up. It had one headlight out. This guy came in, he walked around. He was checking Heather out. He walked up to Billy and he pulled out a gun. Well, Heather knocked him out with a frozen burrito and a sack of hot dog buns. They vowed right then and there they'd never be apart. They had their wedding party in the 7-Eleven parking lot. They had their wedding party in the 7-Eleven parking lot. All their guests had Slurpees, we all had Hostess pies. And one and all we offered this toast to the groom and his new bride. Here we go. It's a marriage of convenience. It's a marriage made in heaven. Cumberland Farms and Heather at the 7-Eleven. Well, Billy and Heather, they run a little store. Heather had that burrito bronzed. It's hanging by the door. If you stop in to see them, tell them I said hi. And pick up a gallon of milk and a hostess pie. It's a marriage of convenience. It's a marriage made in heaven. Billy works at the Cumberland Farms and Heather at the 7-Eleven. Billy works at the Cumberland Farms and Heather at the 7-Eleven. So one time I was having a mentoring session with Vance Gilbert. He listened to this song and he said, if I ever hear you introduce the song, give an introduction, I'm going to reach out and strangle you. But he's not here, so. So I thought it does. I think it does. But anyway, it's as I was explaining about my wife, Huntington's disease is it's a genetic form of dementia. It's a disease that Woody Guthrie had. And so my wife picked up the gene from her mom, who picked it up from her grandfather. And so there's a 50-50 chance. So you hear references to the song, but I was trying to explain what Huntington's is, but also it's at its basic level, it's a thank you letter from a patient to a caregiver. When my dad got sick, I guess I was 9. We walked on eggshells, he was mad all the time. He fell down a lot, he slurred when he talked. He looked like a drunkard, never touched a drop. He went to his doctor, he went to his shrink, and even that med school didn't know what to think. Well, no one looked back at his family tree, how his mom and his granddad had that strange melody. If I knew then what I know now, I couldn't change much of anything anyhow. It was 50-50, and life's a coin toss when you have to dance the Huntington's waltz. They had him committed back in '83. Then some brothers and some cousins got that same damn disease. A ticking time bomb began to go off, and we all started dancing the Huntington's waltz. When I turned 40, more or less, the Huntingtons caught me. My life was a mess. They said I was crazy, it was killing my brain. I pushed you away, somehow you remain. If I knew then what I know now, I couldn't wouldn't change much of anything anyhow. It was 50-50, and life's a coin toss when you have to dance the Huntington's waltz. When you have to dance the Huntington's waltz. Some brothers and some sisters, they have it as well. Their kids and their grandkids, only time will tell. I guess I'm pretty lucky to know how this ends. Thanks for sticking with me, goodbye my good friend. If I knew then what I know now, no, I wouldn't change much of anything anyhow. It was 50-50, but I won the coin toss when you dance with me at the Huntington's waltz. When you dance with me at the Huntington's waltz.
Am I forgetting which ones I'm playing on? Because I didn't remember. On the
Oh,
last
I
one.
know, yeah, no, it's back to.
Figured safer not to if I can't.
So this is another song from the new CD. It's called "Don't Be Discouraged," and it's been getting some airplay and things like that, which is really cool. So this song on the CD, Jim Henry plays a really good dobro part of the cello. I'll try to do best not to. Can't play that. Well, some people wonder what they could have been. They could go back and start over again, but nothing could change my love for you. I wish our life could have been a little easier, a little more fun, a little less theater, but nothing could change my love for you. I suppose I could have worked a little harder, been a little richer, been a little smarter. For richer or poor, good times or bad, I wouldn't change much about the love we had. But nothing could change my love for you. No, nothing could change my love for you. We've had more ups than we've had downs. Pick me up when I'm on the ground, but nothing could change my love for you. Well, I love you, a bushel and a peck, a bushel and a peck. My heart's a wreck, but nothing could change my love for you. Sometimes you don't, sometimes you do. Sometimes I get a little confused. Sometimes I get a little bit flustered. Sorry about your cat and the dust buster, but nothing could change my love for you. And nothing could change my love for you. I suppose I could have worked a little harder, been a little richer, richer, been a little smarter. Happiness, they say, can't buy money, and hindsight's always 20/20. But nothing could change my love for you, and nothing could change my love for you. No, nothing could change my love for you. So I wanted to do a couple of songs from my first album. So, about, I guess maybe the last time I was actually officially booked here. I've come here for other events too, but when my first CD came out 25 years ago, which I still have copies of, believe it or not.
The cassettes?
Well, no, we didn't do. That was like they said, "Are you gonna do it?"
track?
You know, I thought about it. It was recorded on reel to reel. I mean, let's put it that way. But anyway, I had an album release party here. You know, back in the day. But that wasn't the first time I played though. Well, actually, the first time I came here, I was only I think I was only in the 8th grade. It was Club 47 then, and had just moved here. And I don't remember who I saw, but the couple he looked a little bit like Jim Gweskin, and she looked a little bit like Mimi Farina. But everybody looked like that then. So, I mean, it was the 60s. It was the Club 47. I think had just moved here. I think I'm guessing. And my late sister was teaching me how to play guitar, and I learned how to play Freight Train and a bunch of finger picking stuff. And so we got to come here, and also saw Joan Baez on the Boston Common with her mystery guest Bob Dylan. So that was a memorable weekend. So anyway, this is one of the songs from that first album. This has a good chorus too. Well, we all live in East Longmeadow, and we live in a house just like all the others. Water my lawn till it's green. My wife has a garden, she grows beans, and we all live in East Longmeadow. Well, I drive every day down to Hartford. I got me a job in the skyscraper. I wear a jacket, I wear a tie, I sell insurance, I'm a nice guy, so we can live in East Longmeadow. I just bought an American car, it's a station wagon with fake wood vinyl on the sides, gets 10 miles to the gallon, so we can get around in East Longmeadow. And we all live in East Longmeadow, and we live in a house just like all the others. Water my lawn till it's nice and green. My wife has a garden, she grows beans, and we all live in East Longmeadow. Well, I've got 2 great kids, and I'm not bragging. I keep them in the back of my station wagon. They get up in the morning, they go to school. One's below average, the other's a fool. But we all live in East Longmeadow, and we all live in East Longmeadow. Water my lawn till it's green. My wife has a garden, she grows beans, and we all live in East Longmeadow. Well, we've got a cat and a poodle too. The kids took their goldfish with them to school. Said they lost them, but I got a hunch they got confused and ate them for lunch. But we all live in East Longmeadow. Well, I drove home one night to my house. I said good evening to my spouse. Grabbed my dinner, started to watch TV. I noticed everybody all staring at me. It was the wrong house in East Longmeadow, and we all live in East Longmeadow, and we live in a house just like all the others. Water my lawn till it's green. My wife has a garden, she grows beans, and we all live in East Longmeadow. East Longmeadow, Massachusetts, USA. We have time for one more.
Then I know what it is.
What?
Then I know which one it is.
So the other story I wanted to tell was right after, when I was right out of college, I worked across the street at the Harvard Coop, up in the textbook department on the third floor, I think it was. And I used to look out the window sometimes and I'd see, I'd see the Sims, or Passim, whatever it was. And then at lunch I'd go downstairs and at that point I had no thoughts of being a performer or anything like that. Bob Donlin would be out on the corner trying to hawk tickets, get people to come into the club. And I'd say, who's playing today, Bob? And he goes, Utah Phillips, you're gonna love him. It was everybody I was gonna love, so. And I did. A lot of times I went. And then later on, one other time I was here, in 1993 they had a thing called the Boston Acoustic Underground, which was, it was kind of like a big folk slam. It was like competition, you mailed in your cassettes, and then I got into the first round. My first round was here, and that's a good cue for this next song. Anyway, we did some of the rounds here, and it was a fun time. But that was when Bob still in the place. So anyway, I want to thank everybody. Thank Matt and Abby. And Club Passim. So how do we pronounce this?
Passim.
Passim. Okay. Passim. Passim. I got it now. I'll forget it.
Well, it seems like you might remember it.
Seems, yeah. Okay, seems, yeah. Okay. So anyway, this is the title song from my first album. Well, we have been married for a year or two. People think it's strange that I've never met you, but we were married on the telephone. So tell me that you love me after the tone. Tell me that you love me after the tone. Tell me that you love me alone. Buzz me, fax me, do it one more time, and and let's put our marriage back on the line. Yeah, let's put our marriage back on the line. Well, I gave you a ring on our wedding day. You were in Chicago and I was in LA. Your dad was on get your phone.
This is part of the song.
Part of the song. Okay. I gave you a ring on a wedding day. You were in Chicago and I was in LA. Your dad was on the kitchen phone. My mom called from the mall. The priest called from the church. It was a conference call. Your friends logged on to Facebook. Uncle Jim had gone to bowl. We marched down our aisles to the music on hold. Your brother played the touchstones for him or two. The priest got on the line and we said our right. Tell me that you love me after the tone. Tell me that you love me alone. Buzz me, fax me, do it one more time, and let's put our marriage back on the line. Yeah, let's put our marriage back on the line. Well, we had a great reception. If you pardon the pun, you cut the cake, babe, and FedEx me some. The honeymoon was awesome. We faxed until dawn. Fax me from your sofa, I text you from my lawn. Tell me that you love me after the tone. Tell me that you love me alone. Buzz me, fax me, do it one more time, and let's put our marriage back on the line. Yeah, let's put our marriage back on the line. Well, absence, they say, makes the heart grow fonder. That's why I'm here, and you're way out yonder. Now it's time to settle down and raise a kid or two. Your doctor said for me to mail this bottle to you. Tell me that you love me after the tone. Tell me that you love me alone. Buzz me, fax me, do it one more time, and let's put our marriage back on the line. Yeah, let's put our marriage back on the line. Thank you very much.
It's Peter Lehndorff and Susan Hill. Peter's got his new CD as well as his first CD for sale out front. You can pick up a lot of different CDs out there as well as sign on to mailing lists. We're going to be back up in just a few minutes with a round of Anju, Gabriella Simpkins, Nora Meyer, and Pratik, and a set from Noah Dirksen and one from Early Gray. We'll be